Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Joe.
I'm also Joe.
Welcome to SNES is Life, episode 53 recap. I believe it's 53. We're covering Super Aquatic Games, Super Star Wars, Sim Ant, Sunset Riders, and Ren and Stimpy. Let's begin. Super Aquatic Games. You want to describe this monstrosity?
No. It's a James Pond game.
It is James Pond.
Which I didn't play James Pond.
It was pretty awful. It seemed okay for a while, and then it got really bad the further into the game you got. But this one was like a bunch of mini games, basically. It was almost... I'm tempted to say Mario Party-ish, but it was a single-player only experience, I think. Or no, it was two-player, but it was take turns. So like you ran the thing, and then I ran the thing, and then you ran the thing, and I ran the thing. But it was awful anyway. So it's a series of mini games. The game looked passable.
It looked mediocre.
The music was average.
The music sucked.
It wasn't good. And the gameplay was awful.
The gameplay was terrible.
It was pretty bad.
Controlled poorly.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. It was just...
Yeah. It was a bad game.
Poor game.
Bad game. Thumbs down.
Double thumbs down.
Double thumbs down. Next up, we have Super Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, this is not a shock.
We went into this game knowing it was a good game.
Right. Now, the Super Star Wars games are balls hard. Like, they're difficult. But they are functional games. Unfortunately,
they're a lot of fun.
They are fun. Unfortunately, we didn't get far enough to unlock force powers, because that does start getting introduced in this one. In fact, I don't think we actually made it off of the ice planet. Because
we were stuck on Hoth.
There's like 4 levels to it. There's the first level, which is you running across the ice planet. The second level, which I think was this right here, which is like running through...
This is third. The second one was Tauntaun.
Oh my god. So there's like 5 levels, because there was Tauntaun then. And then there was this, which is running through the base. And then there was...
outside again.
Then there was outside flying the snow speeder, knocking down AT-ATs. And then there was you running around killing people again on foot. And that's just like so many levels on the ice planet. But the point is, the graphics are good. The music is superb for it being... Like, they did a really good job translating Star Wars music into a game. And the controls, while not perfect, are fine enough. The biggest complaint for the Super Star Wars games comes down to how hard they are. Like, it just...
Very difficult.
It throws so much crap at you.
With a save state, it's not even like we've played games that are so difficult that, it's just not fun regardless. But this game was still fun.
Yeah. But you're right. This is one of those games that it benefits from the current age of save stating ability, because God, trying to get good enough to pound through this, I'm sure people beat it.
I'm sure.
Wasn't us. One of the things graphically I was impressed with was right here, the AT-AT stage with the snow speeders. When you get around, first off, you got to kill a bunch of small AT-AT or ATSTs. But when you get to the big ones, I was shocked to see that not only did you have the tow cable, but you could actually see the tow cable wrap around the legs as you flew around the AT-AT. And for 16-bit era, I was highly impressed with that. Like, that is something I did not expect to actually have in the game. So they surprised us happily on this one. It's a thumbs up from both of us. So, Super Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Worth it. Next up was Sim Ant. I played this. We've said this about a number of top-down kind of sim games. The concepts are neat. They're interesting. It's got a unique premise and idea, but it just functionally is boring as hell. Like, it's cool. You're ants. You build your little tunnels like an ant farm.
Build your ant colony.
You birth your ants. You take them into combat against the other colored ants. You collect food and resources. The eventual goal is actually to, like, take over all of this gridded map in the backyard of a house and then slowly take over the grids in the house.
It's an ant time strategy game.
An ant time strategy game. That's, fair enough. The problem is it seems almost needlessly complex, actually. Like, the reason SimCity has lasted to this day as such a popular game is because it's got some complication,
but there's a simplicity to it.
Super, like, you can absolutely ignore almost all of the extraneous crap and functionally play that game. This game, you absolutely have to figure out some of the stuff to like make a function. To their credit, they did put a tutorial level in it, which is what we played through. Right there, you can see we're operating in the house, the big yard map. It's just boring though. Like it wasn't great. The graphics were okay. The music was repetitive, if not. I mean, it wasn't awful. It's kind of like Aquatic games. It wasn't great by any stretch. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard. But just, yeah. I would give a pass on this. I have yet to find a sim game that I would enjoy as much as SimCity. So.
ActRaiser. Which I guess isn't sim.
It's a genre mash, though. Yeah, it's like half sim. It's not even half sim. It's like quarter sim, because the sim really isn't sim. It's just like town building. But you're right. ActRaiser's good. Next up, we had the other game that we knew was going to be solid. This is a super faithful arcade port. Sunset Riders, originally an arcade game by Konami. The biggest differences here are a little bit toned down on the graphics and sound. And then it has all the same levels, all the same bosses. It's 2-player instead of 4-player.
Right.
Otherwise, you described it as what? Contra? You're like, it's Wild West Contra.
Basically.
Which is, not far off.
To be fair, like, graphically, I think the game looked great.
Yeah, I think the game still looks really good all these years later.
For sure, and I think it sounded great.
The music was good.
And it was just a ton of fun to play.
Yes, it was fun to play.
It had some difficult parts. Like, it wasn't,
for sure,
walk in the park. But,
yeah,
it wasn't annoyingly difficult. It wasn't, like...
Yep.
Destroy you difficult. It was just a fun game.
Like I pointed out, it was an arcade port, and it was faithful enough that it brought over some of the quarter munchy parts. Like, there were some spots where we were just like, "Oh my god, I've died 9 times!" Like, ding, ding,
some
ding,
of the
ding,
bosses are definitely like.
Yeah, well, because there's like all these dudes like shooting bullets around, and the bullets are actually pretty slow, so you can dodge them, but it takes some serious effort. Yeah. This first boss here. There are just some games that there's a thing in the game you'll remember forever. And some of those things for me has been like Big Apple, 3 a.m., Turtles in Time, the first level. In this one, you kill the banker guy and he falls and his money bag falls out.
With my money.
Bury me with my money. And it just always makes me laugh. It's so funny. But it's an iconic type of thing. And every boss in the game has that. They have a death line like, "Oh, you got me," or something. And it's just a solid game, and it proves. It just stands to the fact that this game is still sought after and valuable. Unfortunately, valuable enough that I don't have it in my personal collection because I'm kind of cheap. But next up is Ren and Stimpy the Veediots.
This game sucked.
This game sucked.
This game was not good.
It was well known that the Ren and Stimpy games were not good. It's based off of a Nicktoon from like 1991. The Nicktoon was super raunchy and vulgar for being a kid's cartoon. And this carries over some tropes from a cartoon. In the cartoon, in this particular level, every level in this game is based off a cartoon. So in this one... Yeah, an episode, sorry. So in this one, Ren dresses up to be a mouse, and Stimpy advertises himself as a mouse catcher, and he's trying to chase Ren through this house. Well, in the cartoon, just like every other cartoon for the last 50 years, it just recycles the background as the character runs in circles and circles and circles and circles. And it did that this whole level. Actually, every level we played was just the same thing scrolling by from left to right or right to left or what have you. The graphics aren't great, but to their credit, it really does. It is evocative of the cartoon itself. Like it looks a lot like Ren and Stimpy cartoon, which is fine. I get what they were going for, and they achieved that. The music was pretty ho-hum. There was some of it where it was like real tinny and just super short loop repetitive. The worst part was the controls and the gameplay, frankly. Everything was super, there weren't much for controls. You could jump and you can pick up and throw and slap. And it was super slidey.
It was controlled poorly. Combined with a bunch of things that damage you just popping out of nowhere, especially on level 2. Yeah. Or I guess level 2 through 8.
Yeah, I forgot about that. In those levels, you're like in Stimpy's mouth, And if you touch these nerve endings sticking up from like his missing teeth holes,
immediate game over.
Immediate death. Like his mouth closes and you die. And we died so many times. To the point where, yeah, it's not only was it frustrating, but like you said, it just was not fun. You're just like, well, this is stupid. Like it's not even like, it's not that it's just a challenge. It's like a challenge for no reason other than to be awful to you.
Right.
It's just like, here's a speed boost, and then here's 5 of those nerve endings that you're gonna slide into, and the mouth closes on you. It's not a good game. It's a definite steer away and a definite thumbs down.
Definitely thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. So if you take anything away from this particular one, Super Star Wars still on the up and up.
Yep.
I assume Return of the Jedi is coming down the pipe eventually, and it will also probably be a thumbs up, particularly because that's the end of the original trilogy. So you know you get to fight Vader. You're gonna have all your Force powers. You're gonna have the Emperor in there. Probably some TIE Fighter, Millennium Falcon fights.
Knew it.
It's gonna be sweet. What?
Do it.
No.
Quoting Palpatine.
Unlimited power. Unlimited power. And then Sunset Riders. If you can get a hold of Sunset Riders, do so. But, just understand that it's a pricier cartridge.
It's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the last time I looked. I haven't looked recently.
We looked recently. We looked when we played it. It was like $90.
Well, I was going to say it was like $70 or $80 last time I remember looking, but I couldn't remember if we looked or not. So $90, yeah. I mean, it's chef's kiss. It's a really good game. But especially for a 2-player co-op, it's super fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely worth getting. So, 2 down, 2 up, 2 down, 2 up, 2 down. What are you going to do? Can't win them all. Joey leaves for college. Well, this Friday. I'm not really sure when this will get put. Point is, after recap 53 here, he's gone. So, starting in week 54, it's just going to be me again. So, thanks a lot, everybody, for hanging out and watching the recap. We appreciate your continued viewage. I can't say patronage. They're not really paying us. So, thank you very much. Adios. Have a good one. We'll see you pretty soon.
See you guys.